Yes, it's probably one of the hardest jobs with the multiple stakeholders that you have to work with and align with and connect with. It's an enormously difficult role. And so I think it all begins with ambition. It all begins with ambition and recognizing where we find ourselves as a people in the world right now. It is self-evident that we're sitting in a very difficult place. Whether we look at our politics, our economics, in particular, our industrialization trajectory, and the challenges that have brought to our planet in relationship to our solar system, and therefore the continuity of the Earth as an inhabitable, was a habitable place for its people. If we just think about that reality, that could spur us, that could catalyze us. At the same time, if we think about the challenges that we face in respect of humanity and our humanity as a people, again, that might catalyze us, that might energize us, right? In the innovation space, ditto. The fact that we have to pivot more effectively towards renewables, despite the opposition, in particular recent opposition, that we have to sustain that pivot, I think might again catalyze the innovative dimension in us. But ultimately, it begins with, as we sometimes use the word, purpose. And the question as to, the existential question, as to why am I here as a being? Am I simply here, sometimes I say tongue-in-cheek, to sleep, eat, drink? Or is it more than that? I think virtually all of us believe that we can change the world. And change the world doesn't mean always at a planetary level. Change the world can be at a local community level. It can be in my organization, in the public or private sphere. Right? All of us, I do think, have this belief that I'm here not just to vegetate, but to energize, to dynamize, to catalyze, to help move ourselves forward. And so when we achieve alignment between personal purpose and the organization that we find ourselves in, and then eventually leading, I think then the possibilities are endless. Because hopefully we will be happier. Hopefully we will not be pushing against the tide, so to speak. Hopefully the tides come together, my personal purpose and that of my organization, and I'm then able to align my team to that organizational purpose. Because when we achieve that, turmoil is nothing. Because we are able to sustain both composure on the one hand and courage and urgency on the other hand, with systemic, thoughtful, integrative approaches to dynamizing ourselves first and then our organizations to new turning points or into new pivots, so to speak. And so it begins there, I think, for future university leaders. If we and when we are able to mobilize the self, then the possibilities exist for us to mobilize whole teams, energize, dynamize, support, encourage, inspire, challenge, right? our teams and therefore move our organizations forward. Yes, there are many programs available, many executive leadership programs available across the world's universities. Ultimately, for me, it boils down to purpose and then self-awareness and the commitment to being a transformational leader. By self-awareness, of course, the importance of EQ, right? EQ is not just about self-awareness and self-regulation and social awareness. It is also about compassion. And from where I come from, in Southern Africa, we prefer the word Ubuntu for compassion, because with Ubuntu, we simply mean that I derive my sense of being and of humanity not from self, but in journeying with you. And so I become my true self, right? And then we ask ourselves, what is a good leader? From that perspective, it is a leader who harmonizes teams. It is a leader who dynamizes teams. It is a leader ultimately who is able compassionately to move with their teams into new territories from which we can see significant social impact and other impacts that we're looking for in the context of our grander challenge of achieving higher levels of humanity than the levels that we find ourselves in.